Hello there. This is going to be a fairly quick video where we're going to be talking about I'm going to be talking about the event that I attended yesterday, which was this one, the New Old World. It went really badly. Matt Howley took the win. I'll cover all that kind of meta stuff when I do my meta bit. But hold on. Have I? That is the event I attended. Yeah. I thought I got lost. I'm sure I got lost. Owen. Well, I took the wooden spoon home. I've left it in the car. I don't know where I've gone. I seem to have disappeared. I was. What? Done Ogre Kingdoms? Yeah. What? I don't know what's happened. Oh no, idiot! There's some. Yeah. Oh no, I wasn't last. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I got the award for most in need of the lady, which I think. I get it. So I think it's because I was outstandingly unlucky. As we'll discuss. Paul Coram, lovely bloke. I played him as well. That was a really good close game actually. Dwarves were typically dwarf. Anyway, let's go through the games. So first, where was I? Table 9 or 10 or something like that, was I? I can't remember what it was. Yeah, there's some interesting people turning up to this event. So you got Baz Norman, Mark Wildman. They're both, AOS. Dan Bradshaw, again another AOS. So you've got some decent AOS tournament players. Rob Hallam as a name. Owen Dawson, I think I recognise that name. Paul Coram, myself obviously. So there's a few names here. I think Luke Corcoran, I recognise that name from somewhere as well. In fact, there's a lot. Michael Appleton, I think there's a lot of people here that I'm recognising the names vaguely. So there's a lot of people coming across from AOS. Anyway, first game was up against Mikey Herbert of and he just absolutely Mikey Herbert, that was the third game. Mikey, that's why I couldn't find myself. Round 1 was it was table 9. Yeah, I did get that right. I do have a memory. It's good. So this was up against Chris Scowthorne with his Bretonians. The game was actually pretty good until the frustrating thing was I absolutely had him. I'll just see if I can.
Hello, just a quick
play
video.
This video here.
So
this I'll do as a short later. But basically, what happened is I managed to sort of get him lined up here perfectly for. So basically, some Pegasus Knights who had Frenzy charged in. I countercharged with the Stonehorn and the Mournfang Cav. Mournfang Cav are amazing. Anyway, all of that just mullered it. Then I cocked up a little bit because I pursued with both units. Whereas really the reason I charged the Pegasus riders is because I wanted to overrun into that lance with the Stonehorn. Anyway, so the Stonehorn went in. I issued a challenge because just to limit damage basically. And then I did a grand total of 2 wounds to his champion. He did a grand total of 2 wounds to my. I did 3 wounds to his champion. He did 2 wounds to my guy. And that meant that combat was drawn. Because he's in Lance, I'm in Close Order, they cancel out. He's got a banner which cancelled out my extra wound. However, he had a musician. So he won the combat by 1. And then I failed my leadership check. Rolled like an 11 on the leadership check. Rolled like a 14 for the flee distance. So that's my general off the table. The unit of Mournfang Cav then panicked. I think I rolled a 10 for their leadership check and then rolled a 15 for their flee. So they went off the table. And then there was a unit of bulls that just behind this Slaughtermaster here. So that fled as well. So I lost like at least half my army because of a musician. So that was brutal. Absolutely. The thing was, though, had I not done that, had I not made, and to be honest, yes, it was luck, but also it was my mistake by not prioritising the plan. The plan was to smash through the Pegasus, smash through these, and then the Stonehorn was going to go that way, basically, and then the Mournfang Cav can come through here. You know, this held up this unit. This unit of bulls here held up this unit for another 2 or 3 turns. So that part of the plan worked. But then, if they'd have got flanked by the Mournfang Cav, they'd have got smashed to bits. The only thing I was really worried about was this, but the mission was breakpoint. So by very, very shortly, in very short order, basically, a lot of this would be dead. So I'd have. You know, I'd set myself up to win and then cocked it up. So that was that. The other video I've taken doesn't seem to.
So battle number
here
2
we go.
ended up with 118.
For some reason, I've done this. It's not very good. I'll do it as a short because that's all right. So anyway, that was round 1. He ended up winning by a significant margin. Round 2. Table 14 I was on, I think. There we go. Paul Coram, lovely bloke. Chris was really nice as well. We had a. The thing I like about tournaments is like during the breaks you go out to what, you know, lunch or whatever, and normally the person that you played in the first game, you got a bit of an affinity, a bond. So you have a chat with them all day and say, "Oh, how are you getting on?" So Paul Coram had dwarves. Again, the Stonehorn was absolutely useless. Sorry, I'm just throwing a toilet roll at my dog because she's trying to eat the underside of the door. Yes, that's what. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So again, I think the thing was the Stonehorn I'd cocked up by putting a character on it, because that means you can challenge it. So every time it charged into a unit, somebody just challenged it, so they'd only lose their champion and like up to 5, and then they just beat it with combat res, and all the Stonehorn's attacks are just wasted. So you know, as a putting a character on the ogre monsters is a mistake, hands down, absolute total mistake. They're actually pretty good without anyway. You don't really need the character on it. And actually having the characters as like skirmishers, like being able to charge in any direction and all the rest, makes them so much better. So I don't know why you wouldn't really. Anyway, so Paul Coram, what happened in that game? Yeah, so the highlight of that game really was the Stonehorn breaking from combat. And being run down by 4 dwarves. Yes, you heard that. So the Stonehorn has Swift Stride, so it rolls 3 dice to flee. The dwarves roll 2 dice and subtract 1 from their result. and so yes. So I rolled. I think that was another 11 on break test, and the dwarf unit that pursued it had 4 models. I managed to roll something like a 7 or an 8 for my flea on 3 dice, and then he rolled like a 10 or 11. So that was that. And had that not happened, I don't think I made a mistake in that game. I think everything went about as well as it could have done. It's just that. I'll come on to my big mistake in a sec. But it was just that. And then round 3 was up against Mikey, who... So, I mean, he was... Right, so I had this chat a lot with a lot of people at this event. So so he had Khemri. The Necrosphinx has a decapitating strike weapon profile, which is a problem. So it has the normal strikes, and then it has a decapitating strike. It has 2 different weapon types. So if you have 2 different weapon types, you can pick which weapon you're using. The decapitating strike weapon profile says in the description, you may make 1 additional attack with this weapon profile. It doesn't say you may only make 1 additional. So because it's a weapon profile, you can choose it for all 5 of your normal attacks and then an extra 1 on top. Now, I am 100% certain that's not what they intended, because essentially the Necrosphinx, as it stands, has 6 attacks which strike last. They're strength 10, AP 3 or 4, ridiculous, and have Monster Slayer and Killing Blow. Or maybe not Killing Blow, they've definitely got Monster Slayer. It's like being hit by 6 cannons. It's insane. And the monster's got weapon skill 4, so against quite a lot of other monsters it's hitting on 3s. That was not it, you know, unless that monster is like 600 or 700 points, which it isn't. It's just over 200 points. So it's not, you know, that weapon profile is worth like 500 or 600 points, not, you know, and it's about a third that. So, but you know, rules as written. There were quite a few people when I was describing that to said I'd be getting the TO over because that's obviously like, you know, but the problem, you know, I'm a bit of a rules lawyer, right? You know, if that's how the rules are written, that's how I play it. And if it's broken, it needs raising with the, you know, with, I don't know who the FAQ, the errata team is. I don't know where their email address is actually. I know the AOS one, AOS-FAQ@gw. Whatever it is. I presume there's an old world FAQ department. Anyway, whatever. But, you know, so that's clearly... anyway, the organisers said they're going to comp it for next time, and that it's just 1 additional attack. And so because of that, basically, you know, I charged into his Necrosphinx with my general, which it was the reserves scenario, so I had nothing else on the table that could deal with it. And the other problem that you have with the Necrosphinx is it's Fly 9 and Swift Stride, so you know it's got a threat range of 18 inches, so there's not really much you can do about it. It's you know, you hit it or it's gonna pick it. So anyway, I baited it out a little bit. I then charged it, you know, with a unit of ogres. He charged the ogres. I tactically retreated the ogres because, you know, they're just going to, you know, it's not going to go well. So yeah, then I charged into it with the general. I kind of half expected to kill it, like with all the impact hits and all the actual attacks, because it's got like I didn't expect it to kill the general basically, because I've got like 8 attacks, hitting on 3s or 4s, like wounding on 4s, so that's like probably 2 or 3 with decent AP on the charge. So like, he's probably saving like, so that's 2 wounds. And impact hits might do another, or should, if I roll averagely, do like another 1, maybe 2. So I should do at least 3 wounds. And he's hitting on like 4s with his 6 attacks, and then so that's like 3 or 2 maybe. That's like 3, isn't it? And then he should wound like probably with like 2, and he might not get a 6. And actually, to be honest, I charged into it with my interpretation of the rule of that just being 1 additional attack at the end. We hadn't had that chat at that stage. Or had we might have already. Anyway, I charged into it thinking subconsciously that it's just got one attack with the killer profile. So anyway, I did nothing basically. Rolled really badly with it again. I rolled 1 on the impact hit, so we got 2. And they both failed to wound, and then the Stonehorn missed with all its attacks, and then the Rider hit with 2 of his attacks, and then wounded 1. So I think I got 1 wound in the end or something like that, but whatever. And then he swung back, hit a couple of times. One of those wound rolls was obviously a 6 because Monster Slayer, and so off that went. He then basically overran into the Thunder Tusk, which was it had to be behind because of basically reserve moving where they'd put the terrain. So they'd got terrain setups, but they hadn't designed terrain setups per mission. So the terrain was kind of set up on the table for randomly, I suppose. Whereas because it's this weird diagonal placing, it's just it's really difficult to if you've got a really big bit of terrain in the wrong place, it's really difficult. Basically, I just couldn't put because all my stuff's on massive bases, I just couldn't put my stuff anywhere useful. So because there was this massive bit of terrain blocking, I can't really, I should have taken a picture really, but yeah, there was the terrain really, really hampered me. We were also playing on the smaller board sizes rather than a 4x6. We were playing the 44x60 or whatever it is, with 6 bits. And I spoke to Dan afterwards and said terrain really got in the way, dude. The bit too much terrain. He says, "Oh, I know that's the amount that they recommend for this table size because there were 6 pieces, but I don't think because I think they recommend 2 pieces per 2 foot of board edge or something like that. I can't remember what the recommendation is, but if you think on the 44x60 is what is that, 2640? Is that 2640 square inches? Is that right? And then what is it? 48 by 72, isn't it? So that's 3 4 3 4 3 4 5 8 3 4 5 8, something like that. So anyway, so it's about 3,500 square inches and about 2,500 square. So if you think about the area size of the new table, it's it's like sort of 5/7 of the old one, even though it doesn't look like much. It's actually, I mean, let's actually let's get a calculator. 72 48 is 3 4 5 6, and then what is the new one? 44 by 60 is 2 6 40. So 3 4 5 5 5 6 over 2 6 4 0 is 1.309 recurring, 1.309 or whatever, something like that. Yeah, so it's 75%. So it's 75% of the area size. So times 6 pieces of terrain, you want 4.5 per table. So there was a bit more terrain than there should have been. Which, you know, if you're, I mean, it obviously affected everybody slightly differently, because if you've got lots of like MSU style units, then you know you do quite well. Whereas if you've got like a handful of really big things, just made it super difficult to wield them. Which is, I suppose, it's good in a way, because that would have impacted. Well, it wouldn't impact dragons because they'll fly. Pardon me. So yes. Yeah, so that was an absolutely terrible game, really. In the end, it was like, and then he had this dragon that I couldn't kill. So he got the Tomb Prince with the armor of you've got to re-roll wound rolls against me. You know, which on a toughness 6 thing is re-roll. I thought re-roll hit rolls with the bedazzling helm was rough. Re-roll wound rolls is just disgusting. Like, it's just horrible. Especially on a T6 thing, because hits, like, you know, the worst. It's just horrible. Like, I occasionally, because like he charged into smoke and balls, and I occasionally got some attacks, and rarely got a 6 to wound. But obviously, re-rolling it, like, there's no way that's still gonna stand, is it? So that armor is just, it's just disgusting. It's horrible. It should be like -1 to wound, because then at least, you know, at least you're just reducing the chance by a 6th, not by the power of a 6th, almost. Anyway. So yeah, so that third game, and to be honest, again, because of the terrain, I couldn't really put the. Well, I didn't think I could. I thought my monsters and my bulls would be able to deal with a single Necrosphinx. What I didn't account on the fact was that because of the rules as they are written, it had 6 strength 10 massive AP, just disgusting attacks. So Necrosphinx is absolutely broken and needs a fix, like, ASAP. So anybody who's watching this, who's going to tournaments, email your tournament TO and get them to make a fucking judgment in advance. I think that's the second time I've sworn on these videos, because it's so disgusting. Yeah. So, but looks like I didn't actually come last. just Dan, the tournament organizer, just felt sorry for me, because I mean, my goal was to go there and get a win. You know, and to be honest, like, if it wasn't for that rule, I'd have probably killed the Necrosphinx. Then on come the Mournfang Cav in a sensible place. Once I've made a bit of a hole, and then I've got a stone, then it would have been a much closer game, and I might have won it. Killing the dragon would have been impossible. That would have survived until the end. But his Hierophant, I very nearly got his Hierophant. Like, it just events conspired against me a little bit at the end of the game. I didn't, like, he charged his chariots into my Mournfang Cav, including the Battle Standard Bearer. Like, so he had like 7 chariots, including the Battle Standard Bearer, charging into the Mournfang Cav. We did a challenge. He did like 3 wounds in total from everything. So he rolled pretty. Actually, to be fair, he rolled pretty averagely. It wasn't his rolling that was terrible. I mean, and I didn't roll particularly glamorous armor saves either. But yeah, then I killed the Battle Standard Bearer, and he rolled badly for the Battle Standard Bearer saves, to be fair. But yeah, but then the Battle Standard Bearer died, and then like 2 and a bit of them died, and I rolled pretty well with attacks. So yeah, it was just really frustrating that I couldn't like get like a rolling charge going off from the Mournfang Cav, because I wanted to get them to like hit a unit, and then that should have gone into his unit of. Why didn't it go into his unit? He got to reform his chariots at some stage for some reason, overrunning something, or I can't remember what happened. But anyway, just events, everything conspired against me in that game. Like nothing, in fact, everything conspired against me throughout the entirety of yesterday. Like nothing went my way. Like I had plans, but nothing, just nothing worked. Which I think is why they got the wooden spoon and most in need of the lady. So, anyway, well, thanks. If Dan's, I know he's a subscriber, but if he's listening still, I mean, thanks for organising the tournament. It was really, it was great fun. I love tournaments just in general. So, yeah. I forgot to vote for my favourite opponent as well, but they need to do that on Best Coast pairings. That needs to be a functionality on here, so you get everybody to vote at the end. But I don't know who it would have been, to be honest. Probably Paul, but I don't know. What was his name? Chris. I just couldn't get Chris stuck in my head. I kept asking him like throughout the game. Sorry, what's your name? Chris. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. The last dude, absolutely not. No, because I mean, I'm not. I don't want to cast any shade, but like, if you know you got something that's that broken, like, if it were me, I'd play it as one attack because that's obviously what they meant. I mean, but he was playing it rules as written, like literally to the letter of the law, and it is a tournament, and I get it. Like, I'm fine with it. I am genuinely fine with it. I'm not upset or anything. But like, that's there's gamesmanship and there's gamesmanship, and that was I wouldn't have done that. I don't know many other people who would have either. But if you want to play literally to the letter of the rules, then we play literally to the letter of the rules. I mean, what didn't help is that. Anyway, I'm not gonna. Like when you're playing somebody and they play literally to the letter of the rules, when it suits them and not when it doesn't. Like, anywho, but like I've said before, like people just get excited because it's a tournament and they just want to win. And like I said on my preview video yesterday, I'm not the type of player that wants to win at all costs. Like, I mean, the other thing is, like, I found out, like, throughout the tournament that I'd been inadvertently cheating on various occasions, just getting rules wrong, basically. What rules did I get wrong? I can't remember now. Feels like a lifetime ago. It was only yesterday. It was a long drive home. Stopped off at a really nice Chinese on the way back. In a village in the middle of nowhere. I was worried it wasn't going to take. So in the UK we have a lot of Chinese restaurants. Quite a lot of them don't take card, and I only had my phone on me. So anyway, they did take card, and I had a wonderful house special fried rice, and they actually did dumplings. They said they were steamed. I mean, they weren't. They were quite clearly put in an oven or an air fryer or a microwave or whatever. But whatever. Yeah, so that was the end of that. So yeah, I was quite happy though with my performance. Like I had a good plan. It's just nothing worked. I got a draw. I wanted to get a win. I mean, yeah, whatever. I suppose it is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, it's weird that you got like. So I did because I took ogres, and this was part of the strategy. Ogres finish games really quickly, generally speaking. Or they do in every other edition of everything I've played ogres in. So I just thought, well, I'll take ogres because they'll probably be like everything else. It just goes forward, smashes face. Either it rips your opponent to pieces very quickly, or it gets, or it gets blunted very quickly, and nothing much happens. So, that was right. So I'd spent a lot of time just wandering around the hall and just talking to people and just observing games. And one thing that's quite encouraging is there's loads of people still getting loads of rules wrong. Like, and the great thing is, even though it's at a tournament and people know their opponents are just cocking up and getting stuff wrong, like everybody's like quite forgiving still. Because it's a new thing and we're all learning it, so everybody's getting everything wrong all the time. Like, there was a game I was watching later on, I kind of interrupted a little bit because I kind of felt I had to. But, like, there was a bloke who was, like, claiming rank bonus while in March. I don't think he was in marching column on purpose. And then there was something about falling back, and there's still a lot of confusion about falling back and in good order or, whatever. So that rule people are getting quite confused with, and like distances for falling back in good order. Like there's a lot for people to sort of embed. Actually, it is quite. I don't think it's that difficult. I just think it's just new, and I'm sure this happened when AOS happened. Like people were getting loads of rules wrong all the time. I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened then. It's just people have got rose tinted spectacles perhaps and have forgotten that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was a good event. I don't understand how I managed to finish ahead of Paul Coram actually, because I thought he did better than me, but okay. And this Chaos Warrior list ended up last. Oh, well, nearly last. Demon Prince, Ogre Blade, Paymaster's Coin, Extra Arm, Battle Magic, Nurgle. Oh, no, you want to... if Tom's watching, you want the... there's a magic armor. I think it's like a standard magic armor where it's a 5-up and cannot be modified. So you want that on the Demon Prince. So then you've basically got a 5-up ward, a 4-up, because it effectively turns your armor into a ward save because it's a 5-up armor that can't be modified. So you then get a 5-up ward and then your 4-up ward. So that makes them super tanky. Paymaster's Coin, I don't know how you found it, but it's pretty rubbish. It's only one turn. Extra Arm, definitely worth it. Not sure about Ogre Blade. It seems Ogre Blade seems to be quite popular, but I'm not sure about it. I'm not convinced. Sorcerer Lord, yeah, sound, absolutely sound. Yeah, that looks good. 20 warriors. Yeah, warriors. I just find warriors are a bit rubbish. Oh, you've got Tzeentch, so presumably putting your wizard in there. Yeah, I tried that with the first time I played Chaos. It really didn't help because I didn't get to bloody do anything with the wizard because it was either in combat or it couldn't see what I was trying to do stuff. So because of the, if you're in a unit, you got arcs. And a lot of spells you've got to be in the vision arc, but you don't actually have to be able to see it. You've just got to be able to hypothetically see it or whatever, which is a bit weird, but whatever. Warhounds are like Marauder Horse are okay. Chosen Knights, great pick. 2 Dragon Ogres. You could have taken them separately, so you have 2 single Dragon Ogres. I've seen that a lot. I don't know how effective that is, but my list, my chaos list, is evolving at the moment. I'm just trying to work out what to do with it. But I mean, this is, to be honest, this is where I'm up to: Sorcerer Lord, Manticore, Battle Standard Bearer, Knights, Khorne Knights, Warhounds. That's my core. Oh, bugger! 73 points missing. Oh, it's because anyway. I need it's evolving. Oh, no, you don't want to see that. Yeah, it's evolving. So, yeah. But that was a good event. Next event is Honest Wargamer. This event. I think he's actually put them on here now. Finally. Oh, this one isn't going to tell me which one I've booked, is it? Okay, yeah. Cool. So that was the New Old World, Dan Buchanan's event. My next one, I think, might be at the big. Apparently, there's 2 Honest Wargamer events over at Nottingham. They're either there's one at the end of April. Pardon me, and there's one at the start of April. So I'm going to try. Well, I've booked into one of them. You know, I'll stick my name down for reserve list for the other one. I'd like to do like a 5-gamer. But yeah, that was the New Old World. It was really well attended. So out of the 40 people they had down to attend, actually only 2 cancelled on the day. Normally the figure's like 10%. So that's, you know, it's 5% cancelled rather than 10. So that's pretty good actually. And it just shows there's loads of support for the Old World. Certainly in the UK. And it was at Sanctuary Gaming Centre in Mansfield, which, you know, it's got plenty of parking. Oh, well, if you get there early, that is. I say if you get there early. I mean, I got there 5 minutes before kick-off of the first game. And just sort of swung my car in and dropped it somewhere and didn't get a parking ticket, so you know, all good. But yeah, it's a really nice venue there. Toilets are a bit weird, but I've never been to a gaming venue where the toilets aren't a bit weird. There's a you know, you can get drinks and food and stuff from there. It's in the middle of Mansfield, so you know, there's a really nice bakery around the corner and there's loads of pubs. It's literally next door to Wetherspoons as well. So if you're going early enough to have breakfast, you can go to Spoons and get a cooked breakfast. Which is, you know, their cooked breakfast is okay. So yeah, I mean, it's a really, really, really good venue. I like it over at Sanctuary. It's an hour and a half away from the house, so I don't get to go. I don't go very often. Oh, I'm going to stop yawning now. It's fairly early in the morning. I need some coffee. I've got to take my son to rugby, and it's raining, and I don't want to. Speaking of rugby, England lost to France yesterday. Very, very close. Six Nations went really well for us, but you don't want to hear me talking about Six Nations because it's not Warhammer. Well, you might do. I don't know. Comment down below, whatever. But yeah, it's a really good event. Had a load of fun. And you know, I came home with the trophy of the most unlucky. So, yay! Anyway, I'll catch you all soon. Toodaloo.